Hey guys, it's me, HayIshMandy, and while I've been on maternity leave, I've been spending my time playing Disney Dreamlight Valley whenever I get the chance. It's an easy game that I can just pause and play as I want to whenever baby boy is asleep or content. And I went ahead and recorded some of it still, that way I could post this to YouTube even though I'm not streaming currently. So what have I been doing in Disney Dreamlight Valley? Well, recently the Simba and Nala update came out and I started it on stream. I believe that's where I last left off. So I've been continuing with Simba and Nala and completing their quests. And I believe Buzz, Merlin, and Wally also had quests going on at this time that I was slowly working on. First thing I do when I get into my world though is I always clear out any of the vines that I see, and usually I will take a stop to Scrooge's store to see if there are any new items that I can pick up. Typically, I have like all the items in the game, so if there is anything new that I find in Scrooge's store, it's honestly a surprise. Because as you can see by looking at half my store, everything's either things I've seen before or it's stuff that I don't need. With the Simba and Nala update though, I did get a couple new outfits, but then they're gone. After visiting Scrooge's store, I went ahead and started Simba's quest, which was to put, I believe, 3 new seating items and 5 landscaping items around the meadow area. So you can see me going ahead and doing that here. I really just did some basic stuff with putting different reeds and vines around, just lazy ways to complete the quest because I already decorated it kind of how I wanted. I didn't want to mess with what I had going on. With that complete, I was off to go ahead and find Simba. It is hard though when they have those quests where they want you to go ahead and redecorate your village, but you've already done everything you want to it. So you just slap some things around real quick and pretend like you cared enough to do the quest as it was directed to you. And Ryder now decided that he needed his mom, so if you happen to hear any passy suckling, that's him. He just can't leave me alone. But that conversation with Simba was basically him saying how much he loved our decorating abilities and how he now can't wait to refresh in the pool there. I think that's a part of the next quest. And since Simba's in the restaurant, and we need to work on our friendship with him to get up and do more quests, I went ahead and made up that souffle that he wanted. That way we can serve it to him and get his friendship up and be able to access more quests faster in the future. And I'm glad I did make him that souffle because that got us up to level 5 with Simba. And it looks like we got ourselves a new pair of pants, which is pretty swanky. I'll take that. So let's have him go ahead and hang out with us. That way we can do his quests faster with him following us and still be able to work on our friendship with him. So now that we have that completed, it's time to head on over to Scrooge and do more of that. And it took me a second to find him because he was on the top level. I instantly started talking to Scrooge about getting that oasis for the meadow where Simba can do his pool event. And of course, Scrooge being Scrooge, he said I can either buy it or I have to make it. And as you can see, I have way more than enough money. So I just went ahead and bought the darn thing because I don't want to waste my materials on, I have the money. I'm going to use it. That was like not even a dip in the bucket. And now that we have that bought, we're going to head over to the meadow where we go ahead and put the oasis down. And even though I just complained, or even though I just said that it wasn't even a scratch in the bucket, I'm still going to complain that I spent $9,000 on a kiddie pool essentially. Like, it's not even a big pool. It's just a small little thing. But Simba thanks us humbly for that anyways. And with that quest complete, I went ahead and started the next one with Simba right away. Basically, he and Nala just want to find more ways to serve the community. So Simba is thinking about making a gathering, and now we have to go talk to Remy because we have to cook something for this gathering, of course. And Remy is the best guy to go to for such occasion. So I went into his house, and might I say I'm really thankful that the Disney Dreamlight Valley creators put that little blue bubble above him because honestly I would have such a terrible time trying to find Remy if it wasn't for that. I love that they kept him the size that he should be, but it is really hard to find small villagers like Buzz and Woody and Remy. Like it's hard, but I do like that they kept them their actual sizes. So Remy gave me the recipe for the cake, which I already knew how to make, so I just made it up anyways. And then the large seafood platter. Once both of those items were made up, it was time to go ahead and deliver the seafood platter and the cake to Simba. And then we begin the rest of the discussion about who Simba wants to invite to his gathering. And he went ahead and picked a couple different villagers, which turned out to be Goofy, Minnie, and Maui. So after our talk with Simba, it was time for me to go ahead and find our villagers. I first located Maui in Remy's restaurant. I located Goofy on Dazzle Beach, and Minnie was in front of her house. With all of the villagers invited, I went back to Simba and told them that they were all coming. After speaking with Simba, he then went ahead and gave me the banquet table to go ahead and put down wherever I wanted, and while I was at it, I also moved the oasis into Sunlit Plateau, where to me it made more sense. And now we take a cute group little photo because that's what we do. Selfie city in Disney parks, and I never care to take a good selfie, so it's a quick little thing. And with the banquet being over, I turned back around to Simba, who was super excited that his party went very well. And after that, he wanted to apologize to Nala about, not taking enough responsibility. So to make her happy, he went ahead and was the real man in the situation and apologized. So there's their little conversation, which takes forever, like all the dialogue in Disney Dreamlight Valley. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip past some of that. And basically, to summarize him and Nala's conversation, it seems like Nala is concerned about being a provider for the village, and she just wants to make sure everybody has enough food, which definitely makes sense because she is a hunter, she's a provider, so that's what she wants to do. So now that we've talked about that, we are going to go ahead and feed some of the little critters around the valley and go ahead and plant some carrots for the bunnies. I promise I did the quest and fed more than just 2 of the critters, but all I could find footage for was the squirrels, so I don't know what happened to the remainder of finishing out that quest. I seem to have lost that little bit of recording, so whoops. The next thing I mainly went ahead and worked on was leveling up my friendship with Nala so I can move on to her next quests. And to do that, I went ahead and harvest pumpkins because I have it so Nala is a gardener, which I'm glad I gave her that job because apparently providing food to the village is very important to her. And by doing that, I was able to get her up to level 7, but I didn't stop there and I went ahead and did even more harvesting of pumpkins with her, which I think gets me up to level 8. No, actually, I don't think it did. And well, still, but you can still see the process. It's a long time. But with all that leveling up, it was time to focus on Nala's next quest, which is dealing with apparently some rifts that are popping up around the village and a fishing issue that we're having. So instead of fishing for the fish, I of course went into my house and just took all the fish that she wanted me to get out of my inventory, which was 1 swordfish, 2 crabs, and 3 tunas. And with all those gathered up, I went ahead and took them to Donald, who was luckily waiting right outside my door for me like the good little duck that he is. So I went ahead and gave Donald his tuna, Remy his crab, and Moana her swordfish. And even though I went and delivered all that fish to everybody, Nala was still concerned that I shouldn't just be giving everybody their fish and that we should actually fix the problem in the village with the rifts being open. So she decided that we need to figure out the bottom of those lioness statues, and she told me to go investigate the paw prints in her house on the tablet because there's some paw prints on the statue apparently, and that's Disney. It took me forever to find the paw prints for some reason because I was stupid. But they were just on the wall right there behind me. Once I went ahead and inspected the tablets, a memory orb fell out, and it gave us the blueprints for the statues. So it looks like I have to find a gem, and then put the gems inside the little statues, and that's the plan. And after doing some more consulting with Nala, we went ahead and decided that we needed to do some fishing for some special little fishies, and talk to Minnie and get her idea about the whole rift situation since she was in the here and there, and blah, 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 more dialogue crap. So now it's my mission to go catch 3 little weird fish and gather some dream shards, which I already had a ton in my pocket, and then go ahead and talk to Minnie about asking her to borrow something because you know, Minnie was attached to the here and there, so spell whoop-de-doop-de-doo things typically like that. And after talking to Minnie about it, she was kind enough to give me her bow, so that was sweet. And then once I got that from Minnie, I went ahead and ran down to the beach to go fish at the rift and look for those weird little fishies. And I was also really stupid about this quest, so I thought I just had to go fish, like, on the rift to get the fish, and that didn't work. I got a stupid cod. It was the gold bubbles, obviously, that you had to look for, and I screwed up that fish too, and that one. And I'm not a good fisherman is the moral of the story, but after a few successful tries, I was able to pull up a weird looking fish. Or I should say a weird looking fish spirit. And I was really dumb, and it took me a really long time to do this quest because I thought all of the weird fish would come up around that one rift, and then I completely missed the fact that there were more than one rift. And so I went to the swamp and found a gold bubble, and I found the third and final stupid looking fish. So that took me a little too long to figure out. Like, a full day has passed, that's why the outfit's different. So once I finally found all those fish, I was able to go ahead and make the enchanted heart using Minnie's bow, the 3 weird fish, and some Dreamlight shards. And then I went to go ahead and give those all to Nala. And after giving this to her, I went ahead and finished up the quest of the Heart of the Lioness. And that is where I'm going to stop for this video. And I will pick up the next quest in the following video. See you guys soon. Love you. Bye!